The year is 1999. Y2K is just around the corner, and one of the most beloved decades in history is coming to a close. This guy hasn't even been invented yet. But for about 20 years now, technology and entertainment have been taking over the world, and it's reached its peak right here with Pokemania. Truly gotta be one of the best times to be alive, when everyone was obsessed with Pokemon. We wouldn't see another digital craze like this happen until 2016, when Pokemon did it a second time with the release of Pokemon Go, the mobile game. Truly, both times were legendary, pun intended. That was, unless you were a Christian and you were watching the world get taken over by demonic powers. Yes. This may come as a shock to some people, but Pokemon, which is now one of the highest grossing media franchises of all time, was criticized often during its peak in the 90s and again in 2016 by strict conservative Christians for either being demonic or by representing demonic powers in a video game format or even of promoting evolution. Not just Pokemon is bad. Specifically, Pokemon is from Satan himself. There were preachers teaching their congregations about children who had played Pokemon, channeling the demonic powers the Pokemon possessed through their own bodies. Okay, so if it wasn't clear already, I'm an avid fan of Pokemon. I have been for many years, and it's not demonic, it's just really Japanese. And it certainly doesn't come from Satan. It comes from the absolute legend of a game designer, Satoshi Tajiri, who grew up catching and playing with bugs in video games, and he developed a game based around that adventurous childhood. Despite this obviously not being a danger at all, there are full-blown disinformation campaigns by Christians. Yes, you heard me. Disinformation campaigns by Christians targeting the Pokemon franchise. It turns out, if you play the iconic theme song for the original anime opening backwards, and you squint your ears really hard, it kinda almost sounds like the backwards lyrics say, "I love Satan." Except they don't. And in 2012, a fake interview with Satoshi Tajiri said that he created Pokemon to spite his Christian parents and their worldview. Best yet, in 2016, Pastor Rick Wiles famously said not only that digital demons were invading churches and hospitals for the malicious intent of... he didn't really say, but he also feared that the technology powering Pokemon Go could be used by Islamic jihadists to track and murder Christians. Well, I hate to break it to you, Ricky, but the technology that Pokemon Go runs on is GPS. I'm guessing they have that one already. So what's the big deal with Pokemon appearing so vaguely, almost kinda sorta demonic? I don't know. It makes extraordinarily little sense to me, but the issue is important for us to resolve. See, this video isn't a defense of Pokemon, although I kind of want to do that now. But no, that's not the point here. The point is about Juvenoia, which is fear and frustration regarding the younger generation. The point is Juvenoia in the church, and that's an issue that concerns all of us. So yeah, in a twist that no 90s conservative Christian parent could see coming, here is what the church needs to learn from Pokemon. Okay, just to set the record straight, this issue is not limited to Pokemon. I have a Christian health textbook from Abeka, one of the top curriculum creators in the States, claiming that listening to rock music causes poor mental health with its overemphasized rhythm and violent and dissonant musical sounds. Wait until Abeka learns about Christian rock bands. Like, they exist. How do you... They sing about Jesus, but with violent and dissonant sound. Just... Oh, and don't even get me started on Harry Potter. Like the... Alright, never mind that. Anyways, the reason I get so worked up about these things is because this attitude, this fear of what the kids these days are doing, Juvenoia, is just so unhelpful to solving the real problems that we have. Video games, music, movies, and the other cultural media are not nearly as much of a problem as some other problems we have. As a young person, the number one thing I see coming from the older generations towards my generation is disgust. And that's just unhelpful. My generation is desperate for Jesus, and not the judgy kind of gospel message that comes up whenever something unlikable happens. You know what I mean. Some kid eats a Tide Pod and the comments on the Facebook article all say, "Jesus, come quickly." That's just not helpful. I mean, just think about it. Why is it my generation that gets no grace? Why is it my generation that crossed the line? Why is it my generation that gets damned? Because now it's intolerable. What the church needs to learn from Pokemon and everything else we canceled before cancel culture was cool is that such an attack on culture because it's bad for our kids must never happen again. We get scared of things that we don't understand, and it's popular, especially in the super strict Christian circles, to bash anything that becomes mainstreamed by the culture. For this generation, it's not Pokemon, it's phones and social media. Preachers and other fear-inducing influencers all over the country regularly say that these things are going to upset the world order, ruin the next generation. But I see right through you, Rick Wiles. You just don't know how to use Facebook, you don't understand GPS, and you can't stand the thought of someone playing these newfangled video games or whatever. The mentality that the kids these days are going to be the death of us, or that everything that they engage in, the things that define their generation, are harmful just because the older generation didn't have them. That mentality is so incredibly dangerous and destructive, and I don't think we've realized that yet. Do you want to see the truth? The people who have been spreading the gospel on social media have been absolutely nailing it, especially in the pandemic world of the modern day. So many churches learning how to record or live stream services was a really good thing. It pushed old churches into the modern era. It's a really good start, and I want to see more ministries that actually target online audiences. Because let's be real, watching a sermon online is just not as good of an experience as shorter, attention-grabbing content we're used to online. Look, if there's any one thing that I want to say here, it's that the younger generation isn't something to fear or be scared of, and they certainly aren't someone to give up on. I'm gonna be real. I'm staring down a career in youth ministry, and sometimes I wonder if I'm going to feel alone doing it. Because when I look around at the greater American church of today, I feel like it's given up on my generation. And the one coming up behind me too. And I hate that sensation. We should be united on reaching the newest generation, not united on telling them that everything they do is dumb. If you believe that things in the world are bad right now, then you're right. But if you believe that the world is now beyond grace, beyond redemption, you're dead wrong. Christians need to be the difference makers, and that doesn't come in the form of sharing articles or pictures on Facebook, and it certainly doesn't come from scapegoating random reasons for this generation's nonsense, like Pokemon, Skillet, or TikTok. My generation won't tell you to your face, but they're desperate for Jesus, and they need to hear his voice through you, so that they might call on his name. But how shall they call on him in whom they have not believed? And how shall they believe in him of whom they haven't heard? And how shall they hear without a preacher? And how shall they preach unless they are sent? As it is written, how beautiful are the feet of those who preach the gospel of peace, who bring glad tidings of good things. You heard it here first, guys. It's time to make like Pokemon and go.